of research on mental health that talks about coping. I believe in ourselves, in our bodies, in our human bodies alone, and you mentioned it earlier in the conversation, we are very resilient. We have a lot of fight in us.
Yeah.
I think coupled with going to God, it's just, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And something very annoying with the issue of mental health is that people are struggling, people are breaking right now. And then when one of the medical practitioners in church told us it's a diagnosis process, a process of diagnosis. And then you're going to find somebody going on the internet, reading something, they diagnose themselves, they use a few big words, they probably can't spell, and it's like they block the people who are suffering. Because people are suffering, as you said, it's a torment. And we still have to cope, we still have to fight back, we still have to be there for people like that. Mm-hmm. And in times like that, because the people who are really dealing with it, sometimes they're very silent. You're dealt with so much, you just go into that bubble, that space, that hole, and they can be blocked off by a lot of people who just talking stuff. And it's how we deal with it to help them. It's like, how do you fight back? How do you tell that person who is in that bubble, who is feeling buried, who wants to be isolated, you don't want to be around anybody? How do you tell somebody like that, the real people who are suffering and are challenged with it, or even people who are now dealing with symptoms of it? How do you tell a person, how do you tell that person to fight back?
Well, I believe you have to have a meaningful conversation with this person.
Okay.
This suffering person, treat with empathy, talk to them from a space of understanding, because I don't think you can minister to someone if you don't really truly understand what they're going through. So create the atmosphere that will be conducive to a good, honest communication, understand what is happening to that person, and then we can take it from there. Pastor, what do you think?
So talking is important for both the victim and the one that's trying to help the victim.
Yeah.
The victim, first of all, need to be able to be open and to be able to talk.
Yes.
If you are trying to help the person, don't put the person down. Because, and blame sin and all your life not right with God and so on. That might be true, but that will not help them. They don't want to hear that. They want to know how they could come out of this.
Yes, right.
So, and once you begin to talk like that, people tend to set up defenses, and defense mechanisms begin to kick in a lot of cases.
Yes.
And so they shut up. They say, well, look, you can help me. They may say it audibly, or they might say it to themselves, but at any rate, they will close shop, they will set up a wall, and so it prevents you as a person trying to help someone that you really want to help.
Yeah.
But you cannot reach out to the person because the person just not talking. You don't have to put the person down if you are helping, and if you are, of course, the victim. Don't shut yourself up and out. Don't shut others out. Ask for help. Find genuine people who can help. And are there persons there? Yes, there are. In fact, find the Aruka Worship Center. There are people who could help you there. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. And listen, the work of the church is not only the proclamation of the gospel, but the work of the church also includes reaching out to people in a tangible way. You can't visit these people with empty hands. You have to take hampers for them. They want to be fed. And the best way to share the gospel with a hungry person is to feed them first. Because if you're trying to share the gospel, Jesus loved you, Jesus loved you, Jesus died for you, Jesus did all of this, and this man or woman or these children, their stomachs grumbling and playing music and so on, they're not listening to you, They're listening to the noises on the inside. So, but if you feed them, one, you would have satisfied their hunger. And two, they would see in you somebody that cares and somebody that's really interested. And initially, although they may not necessarily agree with the message, but with love, they would be broken down, and eventually they would listen.
In fighting back, I believe it's important for the victim to want to get better.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know we can go on, we can talk, we can pray, we can read the word, we can encourage. But if that person does not genuinely want to come out of what they are facing, I can't see any resolution coming there. Now, in my little knowledge of mental health issues, I know that there are a lot of coping mechanisms that people are taught, right? And Becky, I believe that is necessary. You must have coping mechanism. But I want to think about it a little further. You don't only want to cope, but you want to be delivered.
Yes.
And Jesus can deliver. Jesus can heal. So you no longer want to be practicing the coping mechanisms. You don't want to do that for life. You want to get over that, and Jesus can help you. He can heal you. He can deliver you. Come to Him. Talk to Him. He's ready, and He's able, and He's just waiting. He's just waiting because He wants to help you.
So what you're saying, First Lady, is that it all starts with you.
It does.
It starts with you. If it is to be, it is up to me.
Yes.
So it starts with you.
Yes.
And if you're a victim, don't give up.
Yeah.
In Christ, you could become a victor. But it starts with you. Because you see, we could know all of these scriptures, we could know all of the nice, fancy and theological terms and so on. But listen, if we are not prepared to deal with it, if we are not prepared to take it from the arena of theory into practice, if we are not ready to move it from the spiritual realm to where we are, we don't need it in the spirit realm. Yes, God has provided, and it is there. There's a vast warehouse with immense supply in the spirit realm, but you don't need it there. Victims don't need it there. Where they need it is here. They need it in their stomachs. They need it in the banks. They need it to pay their mortgage and their rent and so on. So it has to be translated from the spiritual to the natural, from the theory into the practice. So make that connection. Make the connection. And you, only you, can make that connection. It starts with you.
Yes.
Oh. Well, thank you very much, Pastor, again. Thank you, Sister Shari, again.
You're
and we
welcome.
have other topics actually to invite you all in some coming months, God's willing. But I know for a fact that we can agree on one thing, that the answer is in Jesus. Our help cometh from the Lord, regardless of what. Don't think of it because you're not seeing a mental health challenge that God isn't the answer. God is the answer to anything. Whether you're crying in your bed, you're at the foot of your bed, frustrated, you don't want to be around anybody, call on Jesus. You will be saved. So we thank you and God bless.